Hello. So today we're not going to practice yoga, don't worry. Although I'm in my comfortable space on the floor, on the yoga mat, I'd like to talk to you about yoga as a part of the module Fitting the Body and Mind, because I think that some people have a different notion about yoga, which is not correct or not the full picture. And because for me, it was such a powerful healing tool that I just wish that everybody, anybody, will at least give it a try. And if you tried it, I'm sorry, and it didn't work for you, maybe you'll give it a second chance. Maybe you just need a different teacher or a different lineage, or maybe once you'll hear and understand what yoga is all about, then you'll approach it differently. So just a few words on how I got into yoga. It was 20 years ago. I just had my second baby, Yali. And right after she was born, like a month after, I went to my first yoga class ever. And I was a dancer. I always danced, and it was pretty flowing and intense. And I really enjoyed it. I didn't know anything of what I was doing. I was probably overdoing, again, because I came from dancing. And in dancing, you're not aware of your body. You're exploiting your own body. And this is why I had plenty of injuries while I was dancing. But this was like the first time that I've ever encountered this, wisdom. It was only physical for me, nothing else. And it took me a few months until I found a teacher that I started going on a regular basis. It was in a gym, and I'm pretty sure many of you, you'll first encounter yoga in a gym. And it's not that it's bad. There are wonderful, amazing yoga teachers that they need money and they're working in gyms to get to more people. It's just that the setting around, doing the yoga with many people and not having um, the personal approach and not using maybe the props and just doing something that fits a large group of people, it's just less accurate. But if this is the way you could start and you could get a glimpse of it, then it's perfectly fine. It worked for me. So lucky for me, it was an amazing teacher. She was a dancer too. And from her, I just learned how to start looking inward instead of, all the time performing whatever I did. And I started going twice a week, and it was a journey. We moved very slowly. We hardly did any standing positions. So she did a very specific practice of yoga that was very, looking inward, hardly any asanas, but it was a revelation for me. And I remember after a few months of doing it, I just felt that for the first time in my life, I'm not in my head. I can do something, I can relax completely and be with myself and not with my constant chattering mind. So this was, the beginning of the yoga journey for me. Then, of course, I practiced Ashtanga yoga, which was very demanding. And after 4 or 5 years, we moved to New York, and I decided that I'd like to deepen my practice, deepen my understanding. I started to understand that it's not just the physical, there's much more deeper than that. And this led me to my first teacher training and etc. So why yoga and what yoga is all about? So here in the West, we're thinking that yoga is just a set of physical practices. Many people would think that yoga is just for flexible people, and it's so not the whole picture. So yoga is a wisdom or science, you could even call it, that's been around for thousands of years. It's originated in India, and one of the first books that we still use today that were written on the subject, called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and it's probably a few thousand years old. In this book, Patanjali is talking more about Raja Yoga, which is the yoga of the mind, but he still writes about the asanas, the seats, or the yoga, the physical yoga that we practice. But there are other books that gives more information about the physical practices, like the Hatha Yoga Paradipika and other books. It originated from the Siddhis, the ancient men that were meditating in nature. So many asanas are based on things around nature, animals, but the whole practice of asana supposed to bring the body into an equilibrium between flexibility and strength, the right side, the left side, the front, the back, all the muscles, all the bones, everything has to be super healthy in order to be able to sit in meditation for a long time. Because if my back muscles cannot hold me this way for a long time, I cannot sit and meditate, because my mind will go always to the ache and the pains of my back. Okay, so that was maybe the essence, or why the asana practice was developed or introduced. And now I'll give you the whole picture again. Based on Patanjali, there are 8 limbs of yoga. What we call Ashtanga yoga means Ashta, 8, Anga, parts. So the 8 limbs, and I spoke about 2 other limbs on another lesson, or it will be in the future. So the first 2 are the moral codes, yamas and niyamas. The third part only is the asana. The asana is the seat, the physical practice. This is only 1/8 of the whole practice of yoga. The 4th limbs would be pranayama, which is breath awareness. The 5th part would be withdrawing the senses within, okay, pratyahara. Then we have concentration and meditation, the 5th and the 6th limbs, okay? Concentration, dharana, and meditation, dhyana. And then the 7th limb is samadhi, which is becoming one with all. So understanding now that here in the West, okay, in the Western world, when you hear the word yoga, what you think or know or practice most of the time, and I'm generalizing, and it's not fair because there are many, many genuine yogis that are doing and practicing all 8 limbs, but mainly, if you go to the gym, what you will be doing would be only the asana. And the asanas are very important, okay? Don't get me wrong. We always start from the most tangible layer, which is the physical body, okay? Your body has to be flexible, strong, balanced, with no diseases, because only then you can start diving inward, you can meditate, you can concentrate, you can do all the rest of the limbs, okay? So I'd like to explain how like a yoga practice looks like when I teach. You're always welcome to contact me, and we can even do or try, a series of 4 classes just for beginners with, a practice for every week that you can repeat on a daily basis, and just try it for yourself and see the effects of this practice on your body, on your mind, on your emotional level. It's magic. It's really magical. So when you come to a yoga practice, which is more holistic, okay, you always start with a few minutes of quieting the mind, concentrating. It could be a concentration practice like using the breath, or using the breath as an anchor, or using the breath kind of like watching and being aware of the breath. Then we would move into some warm-up asanas, asanas that are preparing the body for what comes. Usually a well-rounded practice will have some standing poses, supine poses, seated poses. The main class would be always around some or a specific asana, which is more advanced, or a specific area in the body that we would like to work on. So let's take for example, I could do a whole practice related to the upper chest and the notion of opening the heart. Okay, this would be a back bend practice. So we're starting by preparing the upper back, the arms, the shoulders, the back, and then getting into the asanas. Towards the end of the practice, we'll shift into some inversion poses, which are very beneficial for the whole body. Inverting is putting the head lower than the heart, okay? In headstand or handstand or shoulder stand, all these different poses. Releasing the body towards the end with some more stretches, maybe some twisting, just to release any tension that was created maybe during the practice. And then the final part, which is the final relaxation, and I'm sharing a specific lesson with you just about final relaxation. So even if you're not doing yoga, or you don't like it, or you don't have a chance to do it, I'm sharing this with you. It's a specific, certain, separate class about how to do the shavasana, the final relaxation. And it's not just the body, it's for the mind, it's for the body, it's for all the different layers within us. So this is how a yoga practice is usually comprised, what it's comprised from. Again, I just want to say that for me, this was probably the most, or one of the most amazing things that changed my life, opened my mind, healed my body, and allowed me to be open to so many other beautiful, amazing gifts. So I could not, live it for myself and not share this knowledge and just more information about what yoga is really about. The one last thing that I want to share with you is yoga, the word, the meaning is union. And sometimes, people say, union of what? So the highest purpose and the essence of yoga is becoming one with, with all, becoming one with everything that's around us. Or we can say that it's the union of the individual self with the universal. So that's the goal of yoga, that's the meaning of yoga, that's the essence of yoga. And I really, truly wish you'll give it a try. And if you have more questions, I'll also recommend a few books. So you're welcome to dive just a little deeper into this subject. I've been studying it for the past 20 years. And I still feel that it's so vast, and as deep as I'm getting inside, it's kind of like expanding even more and more and more. So that's my take on yoga, and I hope you will enjoy and at least give it a try. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of the day.